Welcome to another edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. During this program, we will highlight the agenda items presented to the Lakeville City Council at their October 19th, 2015 meeting. First highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5C, Police Department Monthly Report. And to give the background information on this agenda item is Chief of Police Jeff Long.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Council. This is the September 2015 monthly report for the Police Department. The first slide we've titled September Good News. I was influenced by the Mayor to spread more of the good work we're doing. So a couple things that happened in September. Schools started back in session. We've already met with 340 students from both high schools talking about DWI, the not a drop law, and impaired driving. The community support continues to be strong. We're fortunate to be regularly seeing good things. Today we had flowers delivered to thank us for the job we do. We had popcorn delivered and just a generic card. So 3 separate people came in just to thank us for the job that we're doing. We also implemented a new gas drive-off program for our Lakeville gas merchants that will hopefully streamline the process so it doesn't take so long for them to get reimbursed for their losses. And Officer Noah Landers joined us with 10 years of experience. And the picture does not do him justice. He is, he's got to be at least 6'10". He wears a size 16 shoe. So I don't compare to him. He comes to us from Metro Transit, and prior to that he had some experience out in California. Some notable cases. We had a kind of an odd incident where someone shot a bullet through a front door in the 7,000 block of 168th Street. It's being tested by the BCA to see if it compares to any other rounds that have been expended in the metro area, but we don't have any suspects at this time. Missing persons case, which has been making the news. The U.S. Marshal's Office arrested Sandra Rucky in Florida on 3 separate charges of deprivation of parental rights. We do have no new news on the missing girls. Sandra Rucky's attorney is quoted to the Star Tribune as saying even if she knew where the kids were, she would encourage her not to tell us. So that's where we're at with that. We had a felony assault, which was a significant assault on the victim. The victim has since obtained an OFP, order for protection against the suspect. Suspect was jailed and since been released with charges pending. We had a fleeing from police officer. This was a unique case in which the father and adult son both fled. As it turns out, they're both suspects in stealing equipment from Ramsey County. They had warrants. Unfortunately, when they ran off the road and hit the tree, they were injured and put in the hospital, and when the hospital was instructed to call us when they were due for release, they didn't, and so we now have warrants for them, looking for them. We had a burglary. This was a very good case by our crisis negotiators. An ex-boyfriend spent the night in someone's backyard, eventually broke into the residence, held hostages briefly, threatened to harm himself. After a lengthy negotiation, they were able to get the male to come out and put his gun down. So it was great work by our crisis negotiators, and their hard training has paid off. Part 1 crimes year to date. You're going to kind of notice a trend as the year is ending. We're beginning to notice that most of our crime categories are up. Not significantly, but just a trend that we're noticing, pretty consistent. Property crimes. A couple of these went down. The burglary is up, property damage is down, so that's a good thing. Vehicle theft is down slightly also. Response to citizens, this just kind of shows the non-enforcement calls that we respond to, medical emergencies. That fluctuates month to month, perhaps as healthier living, I don't know. Animal-related calls, like I said, that's been down most of the year, so why it went up, I'm not sure. Alarms are up slightly. Suspicious people calls are up, and like I said, that's always a great sign when people are calling. That's what helps prevent crime. And our crisis calls are down slightly for the month, so that's good news too. Our CAT incidents for the year, again, a significant increase. We're seeing that almost monthly now. And of course, that's affecting our response time. Our response times are close to 10 minutes per call. Obviously, we'd like to get that down, but when you get 1,000 calls more a month, it's going to creep up like it is. We'll continue to work on ways in trying to make that go down, continue to look at response routes and the type of calls we're responding to. And a simple solution might be that we simply find a new way to take calls. Maybe we don't actually respond to calls, maybe we take some calls over the phone or some other things to hopefully decrease those times. There'll be some good news in this slide. Traffic crashes are down for the month, and this is the trend that I would like to see every month that I've talked about. When speed citations go up and DWI arrests go up, traffic crashes should go down. Statistically and nationally, you will see the more enforcement you have, the less crashes you have. It's kind of odd in Lakeville because our population is growing. So the crashes, when you have an increased population, you're going to have more crashes. So the correlation's a little bit more difficult to make, but they are down for the month. So that was good news, especially with the first month of school. That's great news to see those down. And the roundabout. Traffic stops. That's where we're at. Keep in mind that we do have close to 12 more officers out on the street than we did at one point. We also have a traffic officer and DWI officer, which would, again, our officers are working hard, but there are reasons that those numbers are going up, strictly other than just more stops. News from the traffic unit. Our traffic unit is actually one officer. She made 190 traffic stops, and you can see this is probably typical for most officers. Most of our officers will write more warnings than citations, and that's consistent with this. She made 9 arrests and had 10 hours of where she literally sat at locations that were getting chronic complaints. Again, we will show our traffic stops. The red is the accidents. As you can see, we do a lot of traffic around where our accidents go. That usually directs where we're spending our time. But you can also see that it's pretty evenly spread out throughout the city. The one on 85th there is the roundabout. And obviously it's hard to do a lot of enforcement there unless you're going to drive in circles for hours. But the accidents, as you know, are going down. Again, comparative stats, we started this last month comparing Lakeville to Egan and Woodbury. Just a quick comparison. I know we need to do some adjustments on the population, but as you can see, pretty comparative. Woodbury's a little bit down. Here's the calls. I just picked some random calls to start comparing things to because most cities see all 3 of these. So you can see, the graph makes it look larger than it is. Really, the numbers are pretty comparative. When you start talking 20 to 23 or 9 to 13, the numbers are pretty comparative. I'll just end with our mission statement. And like I said, we work in partnership with the community, and we think we're doing a good job with that. And I will stand for any questions.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5D, Parks and Recreation Department update. And to provide the background information on this agenda item is Interim Parks and Recreation Director John Hennon.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. This is the Parks and Recreation September report. Starting off with the Lakeville Area Arts Center. We did replace our sound system at the Arts Center in late August, or September, and that was a $50,000 replacement. And the good thing about that is that half the project costs were paid through donations. One entity was the Friends of Lakeville Area Arts Center, Expressions Theater, and the Lakeville Lions. So thank you for those 3 organizations for helping out with that project. The first performance with the new sound system was Allison Scott, and staff received extremely positive feedback on the clarity and consistency of the sound with her performance. So we're hearing some good feedback on our sound system. Also at the Arts Center, we had the Arts Festival, which was held September 19th and 20th. And the Arts Festival highlights 70 artists, features live entertainment and a number of food trucks. And it was a great weekend for the Arts Festival. Terrific weather. There are also a number of programs at the Arts Center, which include Kids on Wheels and an expanded selection of wine and design classes, which is a photo to the right. And just a did you know, as I mentioned, the annual Lakeville Arts Festival has over 70 vendors and attracts an average of 10,000 people. Moving on to park maintenance. Late July through August, and then we finished up in September, was the improvements to Pioneer Plaza. And as you recall, we had some pavers that were deteriorating down there, and the water feature was getting old, and we replaced it with a new Boulder water feature and with some permeable pavers, along with a walkway that included stamped concrete, and also 12 new benches donated by the Rotary, Lakeville Rotary. So the project turned out, I thought, terrific. We had a rededication on September 17th, and about 30 people attended that rededication ceremony. Also under park maintenance, we had the replacement of the shingles in McGuire Warming House, and also did some biobarrier installation along trails and some willow removal for some preventive maintenance tasks. And over 24 miles of trails were crack filled and fog sealed this past summer as a trail preventive maintenance measure. Under recreation, we had the Music Together program with 52 people attending the class. And we also had 22 people participate in the tennis camp and 39 in our soccer program. Also under recreation, we had the Whodunit Hike. 174 people participated in the Whodunit Hike, and this was the 25th annual event for the Whodunit Hike, and this event has seen over 5,000 people attend the event throughout the years. Heritage Center had a couple of programs. Senior Aging and Wellness Expo was held by Congressman John Klein. 40 vendors were present to connect seniors with resources and services in our community, including hearing screenings by the University of Minnesota and other informational seminars. Another event was the Lifeline Screening Program. The screening offers non-invasive preventive health screenings which may identify undetected health problems leading to a stroke or other life-threatening diseases, and 85 people were screened at this event. At the annual Waffle Breakfast, 500 folks attended this, and also there were 100 folks that attended the Knights of Columbus lasagna dinner. And just some numbers year to date at the Heritage Center, we have 961 members, which generated over $18,500 of revenue through membership fees. And finally, we're selling Metro Dining Club cards here at the Heritage Center and at City Hall. Those are $24 for a pack of the cards, and it consists of 166 cards representing local restaurants. Typically the cards can be used once a month, and usually get one meal, buy one and get a second one free. So if you're interested, please stop by City Hall or at Heritage Center. And finally, upcoming event, we have the Haunted Forest this Saturday at Steve Michaud Park from 5:30 to 8, so we hope to see everyone there.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 7, resolution approving feasibility report and calling a public hearing for the 2016 street reconstruction project. And to provide the background information on this agenda item is Operation and Maintenance Engineer Monica Heil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. If you recall, the 2016 street reconstruction project encompasses an area roughly bordering County Road 50. It extends north up to 175th Street Court and some of the commercial businesses, down to the south and picking up that neighborhood adjacent to Lake Marion, as well as some streets that border County Road 60 on both the north and south street of the city. The estimated project costs are $12,933,260. Of that, approximately $6.04 million will be funded by city CIP dollars, $3.55 million will be funded by city utility funds, and special assessments will fund the remaining $3.35 million. When we look at the project, there are portions that will include not only street reconstruction but water main improvements. There is an area at the northwest corner of the project that will include complete water main replacement, and those areas generally abut the commercial properties in the South Fork Center and also the South Fork Village townhomes off of County Road 50. We have a water main break history in that area. This is a picture of the water main break we experienced in September at the intersection of Juniper and 176th in front of Minnesota Tile. The break history in that area, compounded with the soils analysis that indicated the soils in the area are corrosive, has led staff to recommend the complete replacement of the water main infrastructure in this area. This would include the replacement of all hydrants and water services, including water shutoff valves and curb stops, to not only the commercial properties in the South Fork Center area, but also the South Fork Village townhomes. Street improvements throughout the 2016 street reconstruction project are varying by both the surface needs and the utility needs. We've looked at all the streets within the project area on a case-by-case basis and have looked to couple street reconstruction improvements with utility replacement needs where feasible. We have identified 7 different areas within the project for street improvements. Area A is identified as 175th Court. That includes the Dairy Queen facilities as pictured there. Within 175th Street Court, we're proposing pavement reclamation and the installation of cathodic protection as opposed to complete water main replacements. In the absence of a break history or maintenance history, we are recommending measures to extend the useful life of the water main infrastructure in that area. 175th Street Court would be one example of this. In addition to the installation of cathodic protection and street improvements, we are also proposing to replace all of the concrete driveway aprons and curb and gutter along 175th Court due to the failures we have noted and as pictured and above. In commercial and industrial areas, the city's assessment policy indicates that assessments should be levied on a per front foot basis for those properties zoned for commercial and industrial use. With the feasibility report, we are estimating that the assessments for properties along 175th Court will be $130.61 per front foot. Area B of the project includes 175th Street and Juniper Path. Again, that's that water main break that we experienced earlier in September. Complete water main replacement is proposed, although water main replacement work is not specially assessed. That is funded by the city's water operating fund. Street reconstruction in conjunction with the water main replacement is proposed in this area. That includes complete curb and gutter replacement as well as concrete apron replacement in this area and storm sewer enhancements to address some localized drainage issues, such as drain tile facilities that will be stubbed and run along the back of curbs in this area. Along 175th Street and Juniper Path, the estimated assessments are $144.36 per front foot. That includes, again, the reconstruction of the street, the addition of storm sewer facilities, and other localized drainage corrections. Area C of the project was identified as Jubilee Circle and Jubilee Way, and that includes the South Fork Village Townhome area. Again, because of water main break history and maintenance issues, we are recommending complete water main replacement in this area. Along with that, we will be completely reconstructing the streets, replacing all of the curb and gutter, installing drain tile facilities, and other storm sewer enhancements that will benefit the properties. As only 4 parcels make up this area of Jubilee Way and Jubilee Circle in the South Fork Village Townhomes, we are assessing on a per parcel basis. The estimated assessments per parcel are $132,519.47. Area D of the project is also within the South Fork Village Townhome area. It is rrell Court. Pavement reclamation is proposed here along with spot curb and gutter replacement, but because there has been no significant water main maintenance or break history in this area, we are not proposing the complete replacement of water main, rather just the installation of cathodic protection. Again, cathodic protection measures will be funded by the city's water operating fund and not special assessments. Within Area D, there is 1 parcel that makes up this portion of the South Fork Townhome area, and the estimated assessment is $67,980.10 for that parcel. Area E of the project was identified as the urban street sections. That would be streets that have existing concrete curb and gutter installed along with them. Spot curb and gutter replacement is recommended to address that curb and gutter that has structurally deteriorated or is otherwise holding water. In addition, cathodic protection will be installed along these streets to further protect the water main, as there has been no significant occurrence of water main maintenance issues or water main breaks. And when we refer to Area E, that's the streets showing as red in the attach. Generally, they're in the northeast and southeast corners of the intersection of County Road 50 and 60. Some of those streets, including Jordan Trail and Jewel Trail, just to the west of County Road 50, and those urbanized streets off of Jaguar Path near the north side of Lake Marion. Within those areas, the estimated assessments are $4,033.95. Within residential areas, the city's street reconstruction policy dictates that special assessments are calculated on a per single-family unit basis, so each single-family unit within that area would be assessed that amount. Townhomes and duplexes are assessed 1/2 of a single-family unit in accordance with the city's special assessment policy. Area F of the project was defined as those streets that are existing as rural street sections today. Those are streets without formal curb and gutter. They may have some bituminous curb and gutter installed on them today to facilitate drainage and protect property. As a part of the project, we would propose to reclaim the streets here, install curb and gutter in some areas. Those areas where curb and gutter exists in a bituminous fashion, we would propose to replace it. And we would install some spot concrete curb and gutter within the area to better facilitate drainage and improve stormwater quality entering Lake Marion as a part of the project. But for the most part, the streets will remain rural in nature and not have curb and gutter. Those streets that we're defining as rural roadway sections are highlighted in yellow in the attached. You see the majority of them are located adjacent to Lake Marion on the north side of it, along Orchard Trail, and also portions of Cabot Trail as shown in the attached. Within Area F, we do improve the water quality that is entering into Lake Marion as a part of the project. We are looking at strategic locations to install means by which to clean the water before it discharges directly into Lake Marion using existing outlets. We would also propose to install cathodic protection in these areas, as we do not have a significant break history, but the soils have been identified as corrosive. The estimated assessments for single-family units within the rural street section area of the project is $4,029.14. Within this portion of the rural street section projects, it should be noted that the density of the properties is less than we have seen in other areas where there has been curb and gutter. Specifically around the lake, we see some larger properties or parcels that have been combined over the years from the original plat, and so you see less density in these areas, and the single-family unit assessment rates are slightly higher as such. And the final area of the project is defined as Area G, which is Cabot Cove Lane. The pavement surface is in a condition such that we are recommending mill and overlay improvements only. That will remove the top layer of the pavement surface. We will seal up cracks and resurface the street in that area to further extend the useful life of the roadway. Spot curb and gutter would be proposed only in those areas where the curb and gutter is failing or holding water, and we would also look to install cathodic protection to extend the useful life of the water main in that area. The estimated assessments for Cabot Cove Lane are $2,573.05 per single-family unit. As we look forward to the remainder of the project, we are here tonight presenting the feasibility report to the City Council and would look to set a public hearing date for November 16th. Those property owners living within the project area would be invited to attend that meeting on the 16th to provide their comments before the council makes the decision as to whether or not to move forward with the project. Should we move forward with the project, we would work on the production of plans and specifications over the winter months, open bids on March 4th of next year, and declare the final costs at the March 21st meeting. I should note that the estimated assessments and project costs are just that at this point, estimates. We do not determine final assessment amounts or project costs until bids are received and we have the actual construction costs in March of next year. Following the declaration of costs, an assessment hearing for the project would be held on April 18th, after which the council would consider awarding the contract and authorizing a contractor to begin work on the project. Depending on the type of spring we have next year, we may begin work in April of 2016 or May of 2016 and would expect for that work to continue until November of next year. And finally, in December, we would certify assessments associated with the project so that the first assessments would be payable due with taxes 2017. And with that, council can consider accepting the feasibility report for the 2016 street reconstruction project and set a public hearing date of November 16th. I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Item number 7 was approved by the Lakeville City Council. Well, those were the highlighted items presented to the council at their October 19th, 2015 meeting. If you have any questions or comments regarding these agenda items, please feel free to call City Hall. The number is 952-985-4400. Thanks for watching this edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up.